Welcome to our very first show of 2019. And I hope you had a great Christmas with your family and your friends. Now, we've got some special guests tonight that are going to help us celebrate the life of Elvis Presley, who would have turned 83 years old this coming week on January 8th. It's kind of hard for me to believe that he died 41 years ago, but his impact on music and culture continues. One of our guests tonight is James Burton, one of the most accomplished guitar players of all time. Now, I would say one of the most copied, but very few guitar players can get close to actually copying his legendary style of playing. And among his many notable achievements was that he was the lead guitar player for Elvis. So why on earth would I want to focus on the life of Elvis Presley, who was an uneducated truck driver born into abject poverty in Tupelo, Mississippi, and spent most of his life in Memphis? I mean, why not talk about all the big political stories of the week, like Nancy Pelosi becoming Speaker again? That's kind of what I was thinking. Or the government shutdown, or the fight over the border wall, or the crash of the stock market, or the tension with China, or the controversy over pulling out of Syria, or the changes in the president's cabinet. Yeah, those are important stories. But there is a reason I'd rather talk about Elvis. Because when there is much real or imagined racial tension, and when people pretend to be offended by everything and they brand anyone who disagrees with them a racist, it might be helpful to remember that through some of America's real race crises, it wasn't the politicians or the preachers or the corporate leaders who helped bridge racial division in this nation. It was the singers, the comedians, the musicians, and the actors who broke the barriers, built bridges, and helped erase racial tension and bring people together. And no one was more instrumental or effective than Elvis Aaron Presley, a rock and roll singer from Memphis who was among the first American artists to incorporate the music from the black community and whose music attracted both black and white audiences. And because of Elvis, many of the nation's gifted black artists got heard on radio and in live appearances by white audiences who loved the music that before had only been heard in black clubs, honky-tonks, and black churches. Much to the chagrin of many parents who would have preferred that their children remain segregated by race, the music of Elvis tore down walls and built bridges through music. And most politicians only acted when it was politically safe to do so. And even then, they did it reluctantly, cautiously, and sometimes cowardly. Many of the preachers and churches of the era were not only missing in action when it came to prophetically calling out the sinfulness of bigotry and racism, but in some sad and tragic instances, they even helped to legitimize prejudice and hate by actually declaring that the Bible advocated segregation. But Elvis played to crowds regardless of their color, and his music touched a nerve deep in his audience that went well beneath the skin color. Some may remember Elvis being vilified for shaking his hips or playing his music too loud, or for openly incorporating sounds in his music that up until then was known as race music or black music. Well, the days of Bull Connor fire-hosing black kids in the streets of Birmingham, or Orville Faubus standing in the door of Little Rock Central High School to block the entry of 9 teenagers wanting a decent education, or the brutal and senseless murders of Emmett Till or Medgar Evers in Mississippi, those are long gone. But the music of Elvis continues to entertain, energize, and yes, bring people together from very different places and races. And that's why we remember that, yes, Elvis did more than the politicians and the preachers to change America's attitude toward race.